What's up, everyone? It's GG Sober Sun. I am stepping out into the oceany. Got a sandbar way out here in the water, so thought I'd mosey on out. One of the finest things, this is May 21st, one of the finest things about AA is the sharing. Sharing is a wonderful thing because the more you share, the more you have. In our old drinking days, we didn't do much sharing. We used to keep things to ourselves, partly because we were ashamed, but mostly because we were selfish. And we were very lonely because we didn't share. When we came into AA, the first thing we found was sharing. We heard other alcoholics frankly sharing their experiences with hospitals, jails, and the usual mess that goes with drinking. Am I sharing? I love that. Because initially, for me, it wasn't, the very first meeting I went to when I was 16 with my buddy Tim. I'll leave it at that. The frank sharing, as it referred to in here, that people were frankly sharing their experiences with hospitals, jails, etc. It made me uncomfortable because I had never experienced that in one setting, and I thought they were doing it just for me. You know what I mean? Like they were sharing all that in hopes that I would repent and confess, admit that I'm an alcoholic and my life is unmanageable. So I wasn't used to people doing things without expectation. It's like, this is me. Lay it on the table, and it was just like, oh man, that made me uncomfortable. I didn't know how to react. And so, but then when I came back, 8 years later, like 3 weeks prior to my 24th birthday, is when I went to my first AA meeting for keeps kind of thing. They were doing the same thing, full disclosure kind of thing. Well, I don't know about full disclosure, but sharing frankly about their experiences, their mistakes. And I thought, wow, that was halfway around the world. The first meeting I went to was in a place called Prospect, Ohio, and a little village basically. And then my next meeting was on Incirlik Air Base in Turkey, just outside of the city of Adana, on the Mediterranean, or close to the Mediterranean. And they were saying the same type of things. They were frankly sharing their experience. And thank God, if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have felt at home. I finally accepted, like, hey, these must be my people. This is my tribe. They speak my language. And yeah. And I find some, and it seems to be a lot of, I won't say all the old timers, but there are some people, I can understand it more with newcomers who try to share their knowledge or something like that. And you feel sorry for them because they're not really opening up. But for old timers who think that they can't be vulnerable anymore because they think that they're there to share the message, not the mess. Well, sharing the mess sometimes is the message. To say, hey, I don't have it figured out still. I need a God of my understanding or misunderstanding, and I need you people to talk through it with and work through it with. That to me is vulnerability, and that's the heart of the program. The willingness to share my crap so it can be other people's, I think as old timers, the people who've been in recovery for a while, they feel like they have to share everything in past tense. But frankly, we still have problems. That's the thing. But now I have the tools, and that might be the other thing. It's like, I'm supposed to have the tools and know how to apply the tools, and I should share this like I got it all figured out. And that's boring. Frankly, it is boring. I do still try to close with some sort of positive message most of the time, but if I don't, oh well. It is what it is. Life is a challenge day in and day out. The good news is I have a program. I have a solution, not just to my drinking, but for all my life problems. So I keep coming back, because we're all here because we ain't all there. And that's okay. Meditation for the day. Character is developed by the daily discipline of duties done. It said duties. Be obedient to the heavenly vision and take the straight way. Do not fall into the error of calling Lord, Lord, and doing not the things that should be done. You need a life of prayer and meditation, but you must still do your work in the busy ways of life. The busy person is wise to rest and wait patiently for God's guidance. If you are obedient to the heavenly vision, you can be at peace. This guy cracks me up sometimes with his pious writing. How Lord, Lord, and doing not the things that should be done. It's true though. I mean, I just came out here to the beach from a few hours after church it was probably half an hour. It felt like several hours of, writing out my bills and things like that are coming up, because we're coming toward the end of the month and I have to do lead time, and I'm learning all this stuff. It doesn't come easy to me. It annoys me, and I find it very tedious, and it's easy for me to just avoid it, right? I face the consequences though sometimes when I get up against it and I don't have, my ends don't meet, so to speak. But fortunately I have passive income, and oh boy, there's a stingray out there in the water that I do not want to encounter. Hopefully he'll stay away from me. I see him in the water there, lurking ever closer. Stung once, don't want to be stung again. I'll probably back up onto one, but anywho. Yeah, so I could praise God all day Sunday and then not manage the funds he gives me. You know what I mean? Fortunately, like I said, I do have passive income, and so I can get away with it, so to speak, but not indefinitely, And like I said, sometimes I get a little carried away and have to pay the consequences, Prayer for the day. I pray that I may be obedient to the heavenly vision. I pray if I fall, I will pick myself up and go on. I can definitely restart my day, as I've often heard, even from the early days of my recovery. If my day seems like it's going to crap, hell in a handbasket. I can restart my day, just the reset button's on my knees. And so just go back in, reset, say the third step prayer is what I find super helpful to get me refocused, reoriented on true north, the true north of truth, of God's love and guidance, divine guidance. So it's not complicated, I should put it. It can be hard because sometimes I just want what I want when I want it, and I revert to that little kid. But something that occurred to me today about leadership, and this has nothing to do with the reading, but I thought I'd share it anyway. Leadership. And I've always struggled with leadership, being a man of above average height, and being of above average height since probably the 3rd grade, you know, but I was 6 feet tall when I was 12. People tend to defer to me for leadership decisions and things like that, and that always freaked me out. And I think the reason was because I was dictated to so much growing up, you know, and that I learned to just go along to get along. Don't try to have an agenda. Don't try to have hold in my mind and be too hold fast, too hard and firmly to what I want to do and what I think should be done. I was raised to go along to get along. If I want to know your plans, I'll tell you what they should be. That kind of thing. And so I didn't much learn to lead myself. I was just kind of go along with any wind, the prevailing wind, whatever that might be. And so I've kind of coasted into life. I married someone who you know, saw that I would drift and would guide me or direct me or order me. and I allowed that, you know, I went along with that rather than being self-directed. It's not a very good trait for a man in general, I think, these days, and that may be controversial for me to say, but I always so I adopted this stance that I'm a good follower. I don't mind being the guy in the background supporting a good, strong leader, you know. I don't mind doing things in the background without getting recognition for it, knowing that I'm being supportive of others. Well, I think one of the reasons I did that and I was like that was that I knew I wasn't leading myself very well. That I was so buffeted about like a ship on the ocean by the waves and the winds that I wasn't very self-directed. I wasn't leading myself very well. And so the message I got today, and I can't remember what triggered it, but it was at church, and I thought, okay, yeah, lead yourself. Lead yourself. Don't let yourself off by saying, I'm not feeling it today, because feelings are corruptible, and I have to learn to push against my feelings and push through my feelings, whether it be lethargy, whether it be distractions. I get plenty of those with ADHD. Push through the distractions and rise above it. You know, it's almost like the old story about the donkey that fell in a cistern, and the farmer decided, oh well, I'm out of bullets, so I'll just bury the donkey. And he starts throwing dirt on the donkey, and the donkey shakes the dirt off and just keeps stepping up until the donkey was able to walk out of the hole. So I got to shake off the distractions and step up, basically, is what I'm saying. I don't know if that resonates with anybody else or not, but it sure was a loud and clear message for me today. So if you're finding it difficult to be a leader in your life, or you want to be a leader in your life, maybe it's best to lead yourself first, or ask yourself, am I a good leader of myself, or do I expect other people to have higher standards, adhere to higher standards than I'm willing to adhere to? I'm asking myself the question, that's for sure. And what I have done in the past is not try to have no expectations of other people. But invariably we do. But thinking that, you know, if you want to lead, okay, how can I support you? And I feel God is telling me, I'm finding myself in situations recently that I'm supposed to lead. And in order to feel secure in that leadership position, I have to lead myself first. With God's help, for sure. So, thanks for listening, folks. Look up, aim up, rise up. Love ya.